Good evening, guys, and welcome to the Hotspot. It's the Sunday edition of the Hotspot. And, guys, there is a big elephant in the Manchester United room that we are all pretending about. Yes, we are attacking Erik ten Hag for not performing. We are attacking the Glazers for not performing. But, guys, when on earth are we going to be bold enough to talk about Marcus Rashford? Guys, Rashford is without a doubt one of our best players, if not our best player. If last season is anything to go by, he scored I think 30 goals, best player of the season. By then, we had no striker. Beautiful player. He's young, almost approaching his prime, and he has got a lot to improve. The reality is, Rashford is talented. But, guys, all the games we've played this season, I've not seen his talent yield something for us or yield enough, something commensurate to what we expect of him. My issue is somehow he will keep starting games, and you're thinking, when on earth are we going to take the bold decision to bench him, not because we want him out of the squad, but maybe to communicate something? Erik ten Hag is a ruthless manager. If he can deal with all the past situations he had, why can't he deal with this young 24-year-old boy and bench him for a game or two to show him that if you're not delivering, you're not going to be on the team? Put Garnacho there, let him start the games. Because, I know we have a tight squad and all, but guys, look, Marcus Rashford is a pretender. He's flattering to deceive. He gets the ball, goes, makes a brilliant run, but always he's fading on his final ball. How many goals would he have scored? Would Rasmus Højlund have scored if Marcus Rashford was being a little generous? Now, I think for me, because this has gone on, I was waiting to see if there would be a change in that game against Burnley. I feel like it was almost the same thing. My thinking is it's high time Erik ten Hag pulled the trigger, put him on the bench, communicate to him to know that you're not guaranteed a starting position, because after all, we are doomed with him, we are doomed without him. He doesn't give us anything except that pass, which eventually he had to, because I think he passed to Højlund because he had to, and you see it yielded a goal. So for me, I think we need to start thinking about it, that actually we can't play without Marcus Rashford, because yes, he's exciting, but if he's not delivering the final ball to the man who is supposed to be scoring goals, then he's failing the entire team. So what do? Make the drastic decision, pull him out for a game or two, communicate to him, if you don't come back and do this, you will be out of the team. That's how you manage such a player, because I think he's going on and on and on and on with this selfish thing, and it's not good. But there is hope, because Erik ten Hag sees it, he appreciates it, and I think now Ten Hag is beginning to make players accountable. He needs to start holding players accountable, because yes, before you can take the blame and all, but at some point, players have got to take responsibility for their bad decisions. These players are on a lot of money, but they're professional footballers playing for the biggest football club in the world, so they have got to behave like that. They have got to take responsibility. They can't keep, hiding under the manager. Players have got to start taking their own responsibility. For me, that's what's supposed to happen. If we are going to keep seeing the success that we are beginning to build, I feel that's what has got to be to be happening. So Rashford is the first one. I think next game maybe the next game against Crystal Palace, and Crystal Palace is a good opponent for us to try and see exactly. I believe Amrabat should be starting that game. I believe Rafael Varane should be back. Lisandro Martinez and Varane for once should give us 5-6 consecutive games. My goodness. They need to be fit in there. The manager has got to select his first players. It's high time we stop this, excuses. After every game, there's an excuse. Lack of depth in squad. So and so is injured. When will this stop? The season has got to get going. Man City is blazing. Arsenal is moving. Every team, Spurs is progressing. Every team is moving. We're here. They are, start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. Our season is there. It's like this. It's not going. Even if it's a car, you start it, then you keep stopping, then you start, you stop. Come on. The passengers will get tired and start puking and want out of the car. That's what's happening with Man United. We don't seem to be, I feel like these players need to be fit. Players need to be playing. We need to be selecting our A team. We need to be enjoying football, because we've been dragging on and on for so long. But Rashford, tell me your opinion. Go into the comment sections and let me know whether you think it's logical, even, because and I know some of you will be saying, are you mad? Is Webb mad? No, I'm not. I'm just thinking out of the box, saying, guys, if this boy is not performing to our expectations, we need to make a statement to communicate to him. We're not saying we banish him from the squad. No, we're saying put him on the bench for him to know that if you don't perform, you can be benched, because he might think he's untouchable because he's the highest paid player at the club. But also he sees that the rest of the players are way behind him. But I think Garnacho can come in there, and on a good day, Garnacho comes and runs the left, right, scores, assists or scores a goal himself. Marcus Rashford will wake up. That's how you create competition, but also communicate. So for me, I'm beginning to lose patience with Marcus Rashford. Brilliant player, but my patience is beginning to run out, quite frankly. So after that, victory against Burnley, and I've been watching. My son has been excited. I just came back home, and the boy was waiting for me from the parking lot to tell me how to come and rush and see how Newcastle is running riot over Sheffield United, and his favorite player, Alexander Isak, was on the score sheet on that. But Newcastle is looking comfortable, guys. We may not be talking a lot about Newcastle, and the funny thing is, we Man United put ourselves in the conversation with Man City, Arsenal, the top teams. I feel like Newcastle actually might be now the level of conversation. If the games keep going on the way they are, we might want to be humble and say, let's leave Man City for a bit. We are not with them, whereas we finished a little close to them, almost beat them in the FA Cup final. Let's appreciate and accept that we are not at their level. We are way far away from them. We are far away from them. Arsenal is also a little ahead of us. Not so far. I think it's not so far away from us, but they are ahead of us. The teams we should be now trying to monitor that could be in our space in our league, I think, must be Newcastle. He left Sheffield for dead. 8. That's a massive obliteration, mass massacre. 8 goals away. That's Sheffield United. Chelsea as well. Newcastle is a newbie. It's sort of they're just rebuilding. They're there. They're not you already made a club. So we can be in the same conversation with them now. So is Chelsea, maybe because they are restarting and starting something new. Spurs, but the Spurs is clicking fast with Ange Postecoglou, so they could be also slightly little not ahead. So, but Newcastle is a team to watch, guys. It could be a surprise package this season. It's being silent, but quite trying to get. I mean, they are beating the teams they should beat, and see, that's the thing. If you're Man United and you can't beat Nottingham Forest, comfortably, you can't beat Wolves, you can't beat Burnley comfortably, you're failing to win the games you should be winning. It's bad. You see, it's okay to struggle against Bayern, against Arsenal, against Man City, Liverpool, but you see, you've got to be able to beat the teams you should be beating, home and away. That's what Newcastle is doing. So they are doing their work. They are beating teams they're expected to beat. They will struggle with the bigger teams, and before you know it, they are finishing fourth or third ahead of you. For us, we are failing to beat even the weak teams. The big teams are obliterating us. So what are we doing? So we need to start taking measures. But for me, guys, today, what I came to talk about is: have you pictured Man U with Marcus Rashford on the bench? What could happen? And would that be the communication he needs for him to come back and click? Because we've got a lot of expectations in him. Hotspot, subscribe. My name is Webb. It's a Sunday. I'll catch you tomorrow.